disruptive.
America that I fought for.
Weird thing to happen. So we're circling back to Bill Maher, ladies and gentlemen, because Bill Maher is proving once again just how out of touch this guy is. How arrogant, kind of just unintelligent, unintellectual, doesn't really read into things, and just proving just how arrogant he really is to real world morale. And this is actually incredible, folks, because on his latest rant here on the Bill Maher, Real Time with Bill Maher, this got pointed out. It says, "This is amazing. Here's Bill Maher with the good progressive Matt Duss," who I believe, I recognize that name. I think he worked with Bernie Sanders. I think he was like an advisor for him. Sitting in nodding along saying Palestinians are all pedophiles. I love how we just jumped the shark from, beheading 40 babies and October 7th, now we're pedophiles. Like, what happened to the other allegations and accusations? Like, that just all went away all of a sudden? Now they're all pedophiles. This is coming from a Zionist as he's defending Israel, which is literally a safe haven for pedophiles, and giving them honorary awards. So, take a listen to this.
Because values and customs make a difference, okay? And the people of Gaza, by the way, if the Israelis did get rid of Hamas, they'd be doing a giant favor to the people of Gaza who hate Hamas too. But
we'd be doing them a favor by getting rid of the terrorist group that Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government orchestrated and paid money towards. By the way, doesn't that contradict the whole Zionist propaganda of the fact that all Palestinians are part of Hamas, part of all this situation, that all the people living in Palestine are resurrected Hamas to take on Israel? Doesn't that demolish that whole propaganda stunt that now you're saying, oh, well, there's people in Gaza that even want to get rid of Hamas? Well, then why are we eradicating schools? Why are we bombing daycare centers that we know personally have nothing to do with this terrorist organization? That we know verbatim had no intel about Hamas whereabouts. But we blew up their schools. We blew up their hospitals.
let's just go through the lists. Because the Israelis look like us in most ways, values-wise. Maybe we're not doing it the right way. I don't know.
They look like us. They're, if Israeli is like a corporate stooge wearing a tie and lying to you on the behest of the war machine and building up and defending the corporate stature that is callously going against the public, then yes, Israel is a representation of me and everybody sitting on this stage. Oh my God. Oh my God. He is really, really digging himself this early grave. I mean, this is like Bill Maher getting even lower than himself at this point. He is really doubling down on his own stupidity.
Religious tolerance. That doesn't exist in Gaza. You're either Muslim or an infidel, and you better be a Muslim.
Religious tolerance. So, concerning the fact that Israel is a ethno-theocracy that has not only discriminated against Arabs, Muslims, and Christians, they're even attacking their own Jewish people because they're not the technical Jew that they need to thrive as this occupational settlement. Basically, if you're not a Zionist, which is the theocracy that they preach in Israel, they want a bunch of Zionists to continue on their purge, which is not really a religious statement or a religious principle. It's more a political stance. If you're not for that 100%, you're considered part of the enemy. And that's why right now they're silencing out other Jewish people that are supportive of Palestine, supportive and against the state of Israel. Meanwhile, we are disseminating against Semites who are in Palestine. We're silencing out other Jewish people. So who on this side of the coin is the real anti-Semitic here?
female freedom, free and fair elections, free speech.
Free speech and free and fair elections. Coming to you by the foreign lobby that has bought in your democracy in the West, eradicated free speech by censoring out parts of the internet and blackmailing politicians to move in the direction of this state, and has deliberately trying to shut down one of the largest grossing social media platforms on Earth. They're talking about the lobby group that wants to silence out competitors as some sort of free speech vitriol and free and fair elections. Did you know that prior to October 7th, the guy who was representing Israel got thrown out because he was threatening their democracy, as they said? So maybe they are exactly like us, because, you know, anyone that challenges the status quo of the stature of the corporate fascism, dictatorship that we live in right now, anyone that poses a challenge to them, they are also threatening democracy and get kicked off. So maybe Bill does have a little bit of a point there.
Gay rights. Can I just finish my list?
So then he says gay rights, which, ladies and gentlemen, you may not know this, but not only is gay marriage illegal in Israel, not only gay marriage is illegal in Israel, civil marriage is illegal in Israel. In fact, in order for you to wed in this settlement, you have to take your case to the state to accept you to be allowed to be married. Basically, the state chooses your lover. Does that sound like the secular, progressive, wholesome democracy that, you know, RFK Jr. or this schmuck or anybody else is trying to preach to you? That in order for you to have a partner in Israel, the state has to choose for you to have a lover, for you to have a partner and be married to, in order to advance their weaponization and colonization against the Palestinians and further on. Like, it literally sounds like some sort of Third Reich kind of, you know, maniacal thing that we heard in the 1940s. Did fascism really end when we took down Hitler?
Pedophilia, I'll put that under don't ask. Child brides and so forth.
And here's where it really takes the cake. Pedophilia. Pedophilia. That's right, people. Not only did they do the massacre of October 7th, not only did they apparently behead 40 babies that we have just apparently got rid of that story and no one cares about anymore and proven it was a false flag story for that reason. But now, all people of Palestine are pedophiles. Isn't it kind of interesting, though, that literally weeks before, Bill Maher, on one of his monologue rants, talked about Quiet on Set, the documentary that exposed pedophiles in children's television industries like Nickelodeon, and saying that there was a problem here in Hollywood, is now calling people in Palestine a bunch of pedophiles. I didn't realize Nickelodeon had studios in Gaza. I didn't realize that was a thing. Maybe Jeffrey Epstein's temple should have been painted the Palestinian colors, not the Israeli colors. Was Ghislaine Maxwell Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend who was trying to recruit people to his island? Maybe, or was Ghislaine Maxwell trying to recruit Hamas? Is that what's going on here? Was Rabbi Shmuley, when he was lap dancing for children, was that some just intricate way of him trying to teach math to people? Oh my God. This is a new low, even for Bill Maher. Even for Bill Maher. And this is where I get so devastatingly angry and just like frustrated and just it blows my mind because I know Bill Maher knows better, and the fact that almost 23 years now since he's been on television, he has been advocating calling out the bullshit war on terror. He knows that a lot of this is made up. He knows about the military-industrial complex. That's one of the reasons he lost his first show on ABC, because he called out the military-industrial complex. He called out the state of affairs going on in the Iraq invasion. But now he's just doubled down on his own stupidity. How is it that I grew up watching people like Bill Maher and getting educated on the war on terror, but yet I come out the smarter one than Bill Maher? How is that possible? It's just unbelievably crazy. It's unbelievably crazy that the people I looked up to really educate me on the real situations on the wars on terror that's going around the world are now doubling down on the stupidity that they used to call out. Now Bill Maher just sounds like every other asshole he used to call out on Fox News for. Oh, he's just a warmonger that, just speaks from both sides of his ass. Well, now that's you, Bill. Now that's you. And there's a reason why you don't have people like Glenn Greenwald on anymore. There's a reason why you don't have inspiring people. Like the last guy that really challenged him was Russell Brand. Russell Brand called him out on his propaganda bullshit. And now you don't see people like that anymore. You don't see anyone challenging him, and you don't really see any good representation on a show like this, which is why this show is such a disaster. It's such goddamn failure because you don't actually have an inspiring panel anymore to actually critique the things that Bill Maher is saying. You just have a bunch of yes men who are shaking their head going, oh, yeah, I agree, because Bill Maher is like a smart guy. You must have watched a lot of Rachel Maddow. And speaking on the behest of him confirming Palestinians are all pedophiles, because obviously this guy doesn't actually read between the lines or actually read any headlines that have been exposing all this. Let me just bring to contrast about this. So, from The Independent, Israel becoming safe haven for pedophiles with laws that allow any Jews to legally return, activists claim. CBS News, how Jewish American pedophiles hide from justice in Israel. So, people may think that Palestine and Gaza is some sort of haven for terrorist ops, but it looks like Israel is a haven for pedophiles, sexual predators, mass criminals, corporate criminals, tax evasion. You name it. Come to this great venture that is the settlement of Israel. It really is a bastion of everything that is wrong with the West, the immoral facade of Western civilization. Come to this great magical haven and just pretend it's some sort of religious institution. Wow. Even Times of Israel, their own publication even points this out. How many accused Jewish pedophiles in U.S. flee to Israel? Their own publications are pointing this out. The Jerusalem Post, Israel is trying to legalize pedophilia. Holy shit. Holy shit, Bill Maher. And the fact that literally just weeks ago, you were commenting about pedophiles running Hollywood. Do you see the connection, Bill? Do you see how chaotic this is? Do you point all the little figures together? Do you have a little board there connecting all the dots? Do you see why we're calling this all out? Do you see how we're trying to expose the bigger picture here? It's literally amazing that he's sunken so low into the propaganda that everything he said literally just a week, literally a week ago, I think it was last week, they mentioned about Quiet on Set is just gone. He memory hold himself so much that literally things he said a week ago is gone to him. And I don't know if it's blackmail. I don't know if it's just ignorance. I don't know what this is. But it is unfathomable because I know Bill Maher is better than that. I know that Bill Maher, if he actually gave a shit, it actually was for his audience. That's what makes independent media such a better choice than him, is that he really doesn't care about his audience. He doesn't care about providing context or truth or any of this. He's just blurting out corporate lies and spreading to you like a virus. At least people like us that do podcasts, we want to encourage discussion. We want to encourage people to bring context to the table. We actually want our audience to be understand and to be knowledged and to bring accountability to the table. And the fact that people pay $12.95 a month for HBO for that garbage, wow, it just amazes me. Here's even this. It says, Holy S, the Israeli parliament just gave an honorary award to an Israeli Zionist musician who was arrested along with his father for gang raping and trafficking young children. Wow. I guess they do have their own P. Diddy. Israel really kind of is like us. It's a match made in heaven, I guess. I guess the West and this Middle East colonization settlement, this ethno-state, they must have met on Bumble. Because it's really just a perfect couple. They're such great allies. Yay. And here's more to this. So, Ela Golan, the Israeli Zionist arrested for gang raping and trafficking children with his father, came out with the song Am Yisrael Chai 6 months ago, which became a viral hit in Israel. And he regardlessly does events with top politicians and the military. A pedophile gang rapist awarded by the Israeli parliament and beloved in Israel by the media and public. Even though people are disgusted by Jeffrey Epstein, even though people are disgusted by E. Diddy now, even though people were disgusted by R. Kelly, even though people are disgusted by Hollywood and the pedophiles that were exposed by the Quiet on Set documentary, and you don't see the connection with this, you really don't see how it really comes together. You don't see it right in front of your face that they're showing to you. They're celebrating this. It is literally just a trafficking haven. The settlement of Israel has become. That's literally the whole purpose of this. That in 1948, the only reason this place even existed or came to be was the fact that the British intelligence, the American intelligence, and other officials from globalist governments, including the Rothschild family, created the settlement so that their criminal buddies and people in the deep inside can have this magical getaway. And they strategically put it in the state of Palestine because it would be a great opportunity to not only wipe out a complete population of Palestinians, but they can also keep eyes and ears and tabs of all other Middle Eastern countries that were once democracies that we overthrew. The idea that Israel is the only democracy surviving because it has good morals, bullshit. Bullshit. Every other institution of democracy we overthrew in Middle East. We set the nations on fire, Bill, and you used to call it out. You used to call it out. But you're such in lockstep with the corporate shilling to protect these Zionists that you don't even realize you're contradicting yourself, even stuff that you said literally last week. Such a garbage, insane person. And by the way, Bill, if you want to talk about great morals that people of Israel have, look no further than to social media, where Israeli Zionist supporters are screaming at other people, including Jewish people, for not sticking to their guns on Zionism, and how Jewish people, actual Jewish people, are calling for peace. They want to live in harmony with other cultures. They want to be recognized as a regular human being, just like everybody else. They want to stop this abomination and destroying the religious practices of Judaism, because that's what Zionism is doing. Zionism is the anti-Semitic takedown of Judaism. It's not assimilating. It's not a form of Judaism. It's a takedown of the Jewish faith. And Jewish people are calling this out, and they're getting stymied by these insane, warmongering, bloodthirsty, blood-curdling psychopaths, as you're about to see here. Watch.
Why don't you get kidnapped by them in Gaza and see if people come and save you? Because we should have a ceasefire and negotiate with terrorists. They're just going to say, oh, you stop bombing us, we'll stop bombing you. Here, take them back. Yeah, they'll just say, here, take them back. That's because
Medea Benjamin, who is advocating for a just Armenic approach to just having a ceasefire, ending the war, getting to the tables, to have a negotiation to end this catastrophe on both sides of the issue, is getting screened by the Zionist to say, hey, you better be raped then. If you're not 100% on board with Zionism and supportive of Israel, then you should get raped. That's what this woman is saying to Medea Benjamin. So where exactly is the moral high ground in this, Bill? Where exactly is the higher morality that Israel has compared to other members of the Middle East?
of Hamas, not because of Israel or the Jews. So you think that we deserve
Israel controls whether they have water, whether they have
No, we generously give them water. We generously give them electricity.
It's their land, my
they
dear.
have access to it.
It's their land that was taken
But it's not
from
their
them.
land. Jesus was a Jew. Do you know that? He was born there. The Jews were there first.
Oh, there were no
Read the Torah,
Palestinians there?
read the Old Testament, read the New Testament.
But Jesus was a Jew. Yeah, and how many parts of Scripture did Jesus Christ tell we need to eradicate a bunch of brown people? How many parts of the Bible? I it's been a while since I've been in Sunday school, but how many parts of the Bible did we advocate for the complete annihilation of random civilians, innocent civilians, in another country? What would Jesus bomb? I would say that Jesus was the same kind of Jew that she's advocating for. That they want a ceasefire, that they want peace, that they realize that Israel is a settlement for the worst imaginable. It's actually an anti-Semitic propagation against the foundations of Judaism. And there's people that survived the Holocaust, for God's sakes, that are calling this out. The people that survived the actual annihilation of Jewish people are saying that Israel's occupation of Palestinians is disgusting and demoralizing and threatens the ideals of Judaism. And they're getting screamed out. So again, to Bill Maher's complete false logic there, to Bill Maher falling flat on his face, where exactly is the higher morality that's comparative to the West here? Because I guess it is kind of similar to the West, because this is actually happening in the United States. So in a way, I guess, two peas in a pod. But you're advocating for the slaughtering of innocent civilians for advancing a political stature. That's all this is. It's not defending anybody. It's not defending Jewish people. It's actually hurting the Jewish people by doing this. And all it's advancing is people like Benjamin Netanyahu, who's not even a Middle Eastern Jew. He's actually from Europe, which is why he had to change his name. And a warmongering global cabal of psychopaths. That's all this is doing. And you are not helping the cause by screaming at people, telling them to buck up, get into line, and become a Zionist. It's not helping your cause. It's actually deflecting more people away from Zionism because you're showing the ugly side of what being an Israeli is like. You're showing the ugly side of your defense of this settlement. And even though it's not really defending anything.